And then my mom, she walks to the door, and then she was like, "Who is it?" And then they were like, "Where's Charles at?" That's my dad.
Time and I'll still be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know who it is. It's Miss Angel Baby, and I'm back with another video. I told you guys that we are going to go through this. I'm going to take it to the beginning. Me sharing my story and giving my testimony of abuse, physical and sexual abuse. There's a big trigger warning on my videos. I just want to make sure that I do let you guys know that. So if you are sensitive to harsh topics, these videos that I am putting out may not be the videos for you. So I just really want to go ahead and just warn you right up front. So I'm going to go ahead and just get right down on into it, you know? So like I said, in order for me to kind of figure out or to help you guys understand, how this could have all happened, we have to take it from the beginning. So I feel like, maybe my life was just like from the beginning, it was already going to be set that way. There was always this family joke. To everybody else, it was a joke. But to me, I really didn't find it funny. The fact that when I was born, that my father didn't want to have anything to do with me because I was too light. And in the words of my mother, that is a white man's baby. And I am, basically call me when she darkens up. Well, it's really odd, you know what I'm saying? Because it turns out that my father is actually part white. So I don't even understand why that would have even been the issue. But obviously, I started to darken up. Also, so I figure like, damn, my daddy didn't want me. And then on top of that, my grandmother. See, my grandmother and my mom, they used to like hang out all the time. And when I say hang out, when my mom was pregnant with me, my grandmother was pregnant with my uncle. So they were pregnant at the same time. And me and my uncle were born 2 weeks apart. So we were kind of raised like twins in a way, brother and sister. We did our birthdays together, everything like that. So, my grandma would get into it with my mom, and she would say shit like, my mom didn't want me. And I'm sitting here thinking, now this grandmother is my father's mom. Okay. She didn't want me. If it wasn't for her, my grandmother would say stuff like, if it wasn't for me, the drug dealers would still have you, or, shit like that. And I'm like, she was very upset. And this came out of her mouth. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's all, nah, I done ran my mouth. I done said too much. I shouldn't say nothing. I was like, what? No, tell me, And she was just like, well, this to me, you guys, every time it always just kind of just gets me. But a part of me was like, maybe I would have been better off with these drug dealers. Like, I just don't know. So apparently, my grandmother, she tells me, she says, your mom left you with some people that she was staying with when you were like 2 weeks old. So basically what she said is the people that she was staying with, my mom, she owed them some money. And she wanted to move out without paying them. So the people told her, okay, well, my mom was like, well, I'm going to pay you on this and this and this day. And they're like, okay, well, until you pay me, then I'm going to have your baby here. So I'm just like sitting here and I'm like, and my grandmother's dead serious. She pissed, she hitting on a chair, she cussing, she hollering. And I'm like, damn, this is fucking real. My grandmother was so pissed. She was sitting up there saying, yeah, she left you with them drug dealers. And then she came to my house and I asked where you were. And she said, they won't give me my baby. And my grandmother said, what do you mean they won't give you your baby? And she was like, I owe them money. So my grandmother was like, thank God. I had just got my check. She said she had just got her welfare check. And she went down there and she paid them people. And then she went and got me. And she was like, if it wasn't for me, they would still have you. So I'm like, damn, that's two people. That's two parents. But it's really crazy because the first memories that I do remember, I really don't remember, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom, my dad. Every once in a while, like I remembered my mom, but like I really didn't know that that was like my mom, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I really knew that because from what I remember, I was staying with my grandfather, my teenage aunts who were always taking care of me, my grandfather's wife, who he treated like a maid, a slave. And the earliest memory that I do have is of my grandfather shooting his dog. He had two dogs. He had one named Boss and one named Blue. They were Doberman Pinschers, and Boss was a boy and Blue was a girl. So my grandfather went outside and for whatever reason, he wanted to put his hands on Boss. Like he started hitting him. And so Blue, she turned around and she went after my grandfather. And she started attacking him. And like, they were out there getting his ass. So my grandmother, she opened the door. My grandfather runs in. He's bleeding. He runs outside and he shoots Blue. Y'all, Blue doesn't die though. Okay? He still has Blue. And I will never forget this. I remember he had this dog and he's nursing his dog back to health. But sometimes his dog would have this wrap on it. And sometimes it'd be like an open wound. And I remember the dog being at the edge of the bed and me being in the bed and me being so scared to want to go to having to go to the bathroom. Me being so scared to go to the bathroom because that big ass dog was down there. And it was like nasty looking. But I was just sitting here thinking, I'm like, damn, my grandfather really shot this dog and then he nursed it back to health. But that is really crazy, y'all. That's a very important thing because as time goes on, my mother, you know, she's unalived animals and she's abused them. Well, we're going to talk about that a little later down the line. So the first memory that I really, really do have with my mom, like with her, is probably when I'm about 3 or 4 years old. Now, at this time, my mom and my dad are together. Because I remember we were living like in the projects and I had my own room. We had 2 bedrooms and I remember I was excited about that. But the most clear memory that I really truly have that just won't go away. And what's really crazy to me, y'all, is like when these things happened, like for years, like I don't know if like my mind blocked it out or what, but like for years, like I didn't even remember this shit. And I'm telling you, I woke up one day and like this shit was just like so vivid. And how the shit is so vivid is because I've talked about it before with other family members and they can't believe that I remember shit. Like, it's so vivid. And that shit just hit me like after all these years. It was so crazy. So anyways, one of the very first memories, terrible memories. Okay, so my mom, she beats me. Why? Because I write on the wall with crayon. Now, I'm about 3 or 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't tell me, like, you don't write on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. I mean, no warning, no nothing. 3 or 4 years old. I mean, I was shocked. I was shocked. That was the first time. And she really scared me. She flipped and she was calling me like bitch and hoe. And that was the first time I heard that. And I was trying to figure that out. Like, what is that mean? What does that mean? Like, what is that? And she beat me with a cord. She beat me with the cord. And my dad was there. And I remember my dad said, bitch, what the fuck are you doing, you know? And he went after her and he grabbed her and he attacked her. And she took off running to a neighbor's house. She called the cops. But before the cops could get there, me and my dad had already took off. This is crazy. My dad took me to my grandmother's house. So I would remember, like, you know, she wouldn't be around for a while. And then, you know, I'd see her. But it's really crazy because that was really the one and only time that my dad ever really stood up to my mom to protect me. It was so bad for him. She made it so bad for him for even trying to protect his 3, 4-year-old daughter that he really didn't even do it anymore. I mean, he tried his best to try to do things, to try to, it's kind of like try to, you know, butter up the abuser so that way, you know, I don't have to take the brunt of things, you know, stuff like that, you know, because she used to cuss my daddy out and call him names and just was very, very, very disgusting and just vulgar. And but I did have some good times with my dad, though. I'm not gonna lie. With all this sadness, you know, I do have a good memory. My dad, he was a big man, you know, he was a big old fat man, and I used to walk on his back, and I used to slide off of him, you know, because he was real big, and he was like my jungle gym, and I would just like walk on him and everything, and I already know my dad would be like, "You're massaging my back," you know, but I would have so much fun with my dad sometimes. My dad, you know, he's not here anymore. He did pass away, and I will talk about that and what happened and everything a little later down the line. Um, so basically, you know, my father, he didn't speak up anymore after that. And then, yeah, sometimes there was some memories that weren't so good, you know. Um, I remember a time when I was walking with my dad, and we were walking in the projects, and there was an older lady. She was an old lady. And she was going into her apartment, and she went inside, and my dad, he looked, and she left her purse out on the porch. And my dad, he said, I want you to do me a favor. I was like, what, Daddy? What? You know, because I didn't know. He was like, I want you to go get that purse over there. And he was like, I'm going to be around the corner. He was like, go get that purse and then run and bring it to me. And I was like, okay. So I did it. I ran around the corner, gave him the purse. He praised me, you know. He gave me a quarter, and he told me how proud of me he was. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I didn't know that I was doing anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that my dad was proud of me. And that made me happy, you know? It's just sad. You know, my dad and my mom both were crackheads, you know? They smoked crack. Um and that crack habit almost one day cost me my life, my mom her life, and my dad. Everybody in my family's life, basically. I'm going to tell you guys a story of when my mom got shot. And I witnessed it. But it wasn't just that. It was what happened. The whole situation, what happened. I have shared this story before. But I'm going to talk about it again for those of you who haven't heard the story. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to walk you guys through what happened. You know, it's a little nerve-wracking, but I'm getting through it. And the more that I talk about it, you guys, let me tell you, I want to tell you guys thank you so much for the support. Because the video that I did yesterday, you guys, your support means so much to me, you know. It made me feel good. It's like therapy, you know, being able to talk. It just helps me feel so good. Everything just feels so light. Like every time I speak about this, it's just, I'm just feeling so much better. And I just really want to just stop right now. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I really do. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into the story. Okay, so I was about 3 or 4 years old. We're still living in this project. All I know is that I'm asleep. It's pitch dark. We used to always sleep pitch dark. No TV, no nothing, pitch dark. Now, I'm laying on the couch in the living room. And our curtains were kind of like light color where you could kind of like see the glare. So I can kind of like see the glare, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's pitch dark. And I'm laying there and I'm obviously woken up by a boom, boom, boom. Loud, like, oh my God, like a loud knock. And then my mom, she walks to the door and then she was like, who is it? And then they were like, where's Charles at? That's my dad. And then my mom was like, he ain't. She said he ain't. And before she could even say here, I just heard, bah, 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 like a whole bunch of times. And then, like, I'm on the couch. The couch is right here. And then the window's, like, behind the couch. And then the door is, like, basically right next to the couch. And they're shooting through the door. And, like, it happened so fast. Like, I just remember me looking down and me seeing my mom, like, under a table. And she was just looking at me. And they were shooting. And she looked so scared. Like, she had this look on her face that, like, I've never seen on her face. And to this day, like, I've never seen that scared look on her face. And she just looked at me. She didn't reach for me. She didn't, nothing. She just hid under the table. And then at first, like, I didn't know, like, if it was real or if it wasn't, you know, if I was dreaming. But, like, in a way, I was, like, in and out. So, like, right after that happened and I seen her, I don't know what it was. I just, like, was out. Then I woke up. When I woke up, I was next door. And I was next door at this older lady's house. Her name's Theola. And how I knew, it was, like, dark in there. But, like, I can, like, you can smell, like, she has this very distinct smell. And then she has, like, all these plants and everything. And you could barely, like, see the glare. But one thing that I did see was I seen a bunch of, like, blue and red lights. They were everywhere. I was like, damn, it's true. Like, it happened, you know, like, my mom really got shot. And so, yeah, she got hit. And after she got hit, she got under the table. She didn't reach for me. She didn't do nothing. She got shot in her thigh. They were looking for my dad because my dad owed some money for crack. Everybody's saying that it was over $20. And yeah, that was that. So after that happened, we moved to my grandmother's house. And then the cops comes to the house and they bust the doors open. They're raiding my grandmother's house.
Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got